Two Nicolas Cage movies enter the ring, but only one comes out alive. It's Cinemassacre's Cage Match! Today, the brawl is between Face Off and Adaptation. In both films, Nicolas Cage plays two roles. In Face Off, he plays the villain and also plays John Travolta wearing his face. His face. Now, get this! In Adaptation, he plays the writer of the film we're watching, but also his fictional twin brother. Count 'em! 1, 2, that's twice the Cage! Both films have double the Nick, but only one can claim the victory. Let the Cage Match begin!
But first, a message from our sponsor.
Hey there, Kieran. Having fun with that bubble wrap?
Boy, am I. I could do this all day. If only I could get a job where all I do is pop bubble wrap.
While that job may not exist, you can get the same satisfaction here with the Control Mechanical Keyboard.
Wow! What a satisfying and tactile typing sensation.
The Control Mechanical Keyboard from Drop, formerly known as Massdrop, delivers a satisfying typing experience with a slick look. With its space gray aesthetic, premium plastic keys, and solid aluminum frame, this keyboard will make you the envy of your office, game room, or any social gathering.
And just look at that customizable LED lighting. I can't wait to type a bunch of stuff with this bad boy.
There's also a no-hassle 30-day return policy, so check out the link in the description and get your Drop Control Mechanical Keyboard today. Hey Kieran, can I have some of that bubble wrap?
Sure, Tony. I won't be needing this anymore. If you're in the market for a keyboard that feels as good as it looks, get the Control Mechanical Keyboard from Drop.
Kieran? Kieran! Speak to me! Oh Lord!
All right, so today it's Face Off versus Adaptation.
Oh.
You want to go Face Off first?
You were doing, yeah, Face Off.
Yeah. Why does the title have to be literal? That's what I thought. The first time I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, it's actually about taking someone's face off.
Remember, the title isn't Face Off, it's Face Slash.
Yeah, Face Off.
The slash is in the title.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I never picked up on.
For the longest time, I used to actually get this confused with sudden death.
Oh, come on.
Well, because they're
Really?
both like hockey terms.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like Face Off, like with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I was like, oh no, it's the.
And there's
that makes
also
sense.
a Breaking Bad episode called Face Off, and in that episode, someone gets their face blown off.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is John Woo from like hard-boiled Hong Kong style.
The killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was known for doing these really hyper-violent, exaggerated
was this his
action.
first like big American like
blockbuster? Yeah, it was his
Was
first
this
big.
This was before Broken Arrow?
Oh,
Yeah, by 1
Good
year.
question.
I think.
Yeah,
I think that was
okay.
'98, wasn't it? Or was it
I don't
96?
remember. I remember
Broken
that,
Arrow sucks.
so it's kind of like if you've seen some of his earlier movies, it helps with the understanding the style a little bit.
You mean
because,
shit flying everywhere all the
gonna
time?
say-
Yeah, because my introduction to him was definitely Face Off. I
Oh.
saw this because a film professor recommended it and said, "Okay, everybody's homework, you got to watch Face Off." And this was a summer class.
Was that a punishment?
I don't know. Well, that's how I felt at the time. But
This
he
isn't
said,
a bad movie, though.
No, I enjoyed it.
I love Face Off.
Yeah,
I actually like it.
But I hated it the first time I saw it, and the reason why was because the film professor was like, "Now pay attention to the editing. You got to see Face Off." And then we came back to class the next day, and everybody's kind of like not saying anything about it. Like, so did everybody see Face Off? And everybody's kind of just like, yeah. And for the rest of my life, I'm wondering, like, what was so good about the editing that he recommended Face Off? It has good editing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think he might have just been a real John Woo
I will
fan
say,
or
Maybe,
something.
yeah,
the
yeah.
action, like the gunplay editing, is awesome.
Well,
Oh,
that's the John Woo staple: is two guns in the hands, diving sideways, spinning in circles with doves flying everywhere and stuff like that. That's
Oh, did he also invent like the shot where it's two people pointing a gun and the camera's spinning around them?
I don't know if he was the
definitely
first
used
ever
it, yeah.
to do that in the world, but he definitely, that became like everything that is. I mean, everything he's done. I mean, and then there's movies that later on. I mean, The Matrix obviously took a lot from him, and he definitely inspired this action, just the two guns and bullet time and all that kind of stuff, slow motion gunplay.
Oh yeah.
That's all staples that were, conceptualized, I think, by John Woo and then became these cinema mainstays later on.
Yeah. So it's a tale of good guy, bad guy, who have a switcheroo. They take on each other's identities.
Yeah.
Which I've seen before. There's Trading Places, Freaky Friday, and even the Ninja Turtles episode. There's one, what was it called again? I wrote it down. Oh, the old switcheroo, where Shredder and Splinter switch minds.
I remember that one, yeah.
I know there's a good Justice League episode where the Flash and Lex Luthor switch as well. That was a good one.
Yeah, this is the first time I saw it done in like a major action film in this way. So basically, the plot is there's an FBI agent, Sean Archer, played by John Travolta, who goes up against a psychotic terrorist leader, Castor Troy, played by Cage, who killed Archer's son.
Which it opens with his son dying at the
but it's
at the
kind
carousel.
of it seems like it was he didn't mean to kill Archer's son, and that's the funny thing is that he looks like he's when he shoots the son, he like stops, even though he's this crazy guy and everything.
I
like
also
that.
love how he has a giant mustache for some reason.
Troy has a bomb hidden somewhere in a major city.
It's gonna blow up E3.
Oh, you're right, because it's the Staples Center.
Yeah,
oh my God,
take it out.
Oh my God, yeah. And then, so Archer needs to find the location of the bomb, and in a complicated turn of events, Troy is captured by the FBI, but goes into a coma, so they take his face off, they put it on Archer, so he can get information from Troy's henchmen.
Yeah. So Nick Cage is the bad guy, and they take his face and put it on the good guy, who's really obsessed with him, so it's kind of like you're becoming that person.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! John! John! John,
It's hard to explain, but it actually, when you watch it, it makes sense. Like,
when I
you're
first watched it as a kid, it made total sense to me.
Well,
Nowadays,
it's supposed
though,
to be-
it's so fucking
Yeah,
dumb.
it's supposed to be like a
ridiculous.
fucking analogy that they made for real.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a
the
metaphor. And
Yeah, and the switch was not done intentionally by them. It was when Troy wakes up. He happens to wake up, find out he has no face, and then he ends up like forcing the lab technician or whoever, to put the face on, and then they both live each other's lifestyles.
Yeah, that scene where he wakes up without the face too is pretty creepy because it just is like nothing.
it reminds me of like the Joker.
Yeah.
And the way they do it is so grotesque because they don't show it much. They leave it to the imagination. But when he sits up and he touches his face and his back is turned, and then when he takes the hand off and he's got blood on his fingers, I just remember thinking like, oh, that was so gross.
Yeah.
Like, at this time I was already watching all kinds of horror movies. I was just looking right here, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I was really into those at the time, and I felt like I've already seen about everything, and then just that idea of just what it would be like to not have skin on your face just creeped me out so much. I was like, geez, I did not see that coming.
Not just that, they show what it looks like in the doctor's glasses reflection, which is a great shot.
Yeah, I mean, the one where it's in the glasses is probably the most explicit, where it by that point it was kind of like, okay, it's silly, it's just a movie. But the ones where it's like the face first peels off, but they go out of focus, so you kind of see it, that bothered me more because it just puts it in your imagination.
What scared me was the wax dummies of both of them, where they were like lasering their faces and stuff, and they looked nothing like them.
That was actually that part when they just plop the face down on him, and it's like,
and there's, dude, the makeup effects are really good.
Yeah,
in this
they
movie.
are. I just think the one thing about this movie is Nicolas Cage plays a great crazy Nicolas Cage, and then he also plays the normal, trying to be the crazy Nicolas Cage.
Well,
John Travolta plays the good John Travolta guy, but when he has to be crazy Nicolas Cage guy, he's fucking terrible.
He is like, you know who he sounds like? Jim Carrey. He sounds like he's doing Jim Carrey. There's a part at 1 hour, 3 minutes. He's talking to the real Sean Archer, who is now played by Cage because he got his face, and he's on the TV and he says, "Interception. Now our side's got the bomb. Sorry." It's so
he's on the screen from the prison.
But it's so funny seeing Cage acting like Travolta, which he does pretty well.
Yeah.
And then Travolta, acting like Cage.
Well, I like that he's acting like Travolta trying to act like Nicolas Cage. So he kind of is like, when he's beating the guy down in the prison, and he's like, I'm Castor Troy! I'm crazy! Like, he has to really play it up, but everybody's kind of like...
Compared to
when he's in the fight in the prison, and then he stops, and he looks at the guy, and he just makes the face, it's like, okay, I'm going to make his face now. But it's Nicolas Cage kind of just like mocking himself, basically.
I love the Nicolas Cage one. He's dressed as a priest because there's some like church convention.
That part is so weird.
At E3.
Yeah,
and he's doing the circle banging.
Yeah,
and
he's like...
He grabs like 8 women's butts in the movie. He does a weird like tongue suck
Yeah, he's
thing.
like, suck my tongue to that woman, and
Yeah.
she does,
That
but then
was
she's
good.
an FBI agent, which is weird because it's like, why wouldn't you just kill him
Oh,
there?
and speaking of the agents, I love how one of the like head FBI people's CCH Pounder.
Yep.
That's her name, and she puts the fucking cigarette out on his arm. I was
Which,
like,
he's a, what does she said? Calls like he's a sweet potato.
Yeah,
or
he's like
something
a
like that?
vegetable. Yeah.
So this movie's really confusing talking about right now, but when you watch it, it's never confusing. They do a really good job at. You could always tell when you're looking at, Sean Archer or Castor Troy.
They do a good job of making you they're
Believe
acting
that
to know it's like the other guy or whatever.
Yeah. And boy, there's a lot of great moments. Like, there's a really funny part where Travolta's in the office and he's acting like Cage and he's kind of just like jumping around and like going nuts. The part when he has to take the drugs, and all the other bad guys, they've seen him take drugs all the time. And it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't, then they'll know something's up. So he just takes the drugs, but he can't handle them because he still has his regular body. And then he starts like bugging out, and they're like, no more drugs for that man.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I thought that was going to happen because you find out that Nicolas Cage, or the bad guy, smokes, but then John Travolta, whatever, has to. But no one ever coughs. Like, everyone's just fine with smoking.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought would be, whatever. But a scene I thought was weird is you have Nicolas Cage, the bad guy has a son that he doesn't know about with that girl, Sasha. And then her brother, who's the bald guy, in their apartment,
Yeah.
But then they make out at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
And they think
undercover.
that was no, not that. The brother and the sister.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're brother and sister.
Huh.
They break up and like, and then at the very, very end, once everything happens, they steal that kid's son. They steal the son.
Yeah.
They just adopt him. Like, no one's gonna notice. They said, I guess you're part of our family now.
He has to, the whole part when he's like in the kid's face and she's like, you're scaring the boy, and he has to act like, he knows about.
Oh, he keeps calling him Michael, his son that died. That's so frightening. Michael.
Yeah. I like how they thought about every angle, like every situation that they would have to live, they thought through it, where it's like, okay, you see Troy with Archer's daughter, you see him like, faking that he's her dad.
Yeah, that got weird a few times.
Yeah, it's like really creepy. And then, but then when like that boyfriend is with her, and then he's like, he gives
That's
her
a
the
hide
knife
from
and,
that
like,
70s show.
So then you have Troy visiting the grave of Archer's son with the wife,
Oh,
and
they
like
put the little fucking trucks on the grave and shit. Oh, that was tough.
and it's like, he, just knowing that that's the kid who he
shot him.
killed, and like it almost seems like in that scene he's like feeling some remorse.
Yeah.
It opens like fucking Punisher too, where he shoots him at the
Yeah, it's at the
Yeah,
carousel and everything.
And then John Travolta became the bad guy in Punisher. But
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, actually.
I also have my notes
Think
that
about that.
the boat chase finale was awesome action.
that was cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of, and then the end scene where he goes... I don't know how, but he fucking survives at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He goes to cut off his own face saying, like, oh, you'll never, or whatever. And then he gets shot, but then they were able to fix it. Like, I thought it was going to be like he's going to fuck up his face so you can't have it back or something. But then he lives and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot with the spear gun, and he's fine with that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. The movie does. And the scariest part of the film is John Travolta keeps touching everybody's face. Like his family, and it like kind of like the it just I don't want people touching my face. I'm just saying, like if I touch your face, you like the
I'd be like, please don't. Either way, I mean, I can
And he
understand my
does it to
family,
everybody.
but why would you touch my face? That'd be weird. You're like,
I want your face off.
Yeah, I mean, wow,
Yeah, and don't forget Joe Bob's in this movie.
Joe Bob Briggs is in the movie for like 2 seconds. It's in like the lab scene where
they're going to give him shock therapy. That's how he escapes from prison.
Yeah. Oh, you really got to let logic go out the window with this movie. I mean, first of all, like how easy they're able to put faces on people, but then there's like every single thing, like where in the beginning he pulls a gun to the pilot in the plane. It's like anytime you see a gun pulled on the pilot, it's like, okay, you want them to fly the plane. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot them? I mean, who's going to fly it? Like, it just, those never, seems never make sense.
However, in a Con Air, which we already talked about this month, John Malkovich pulls a gun on the pilot and he goes, what are you going to do, shoot me and kill the pilot? He's like, I don't never think that far ahead. What are you going to do? Like, I'm crazy, you know?
Yeah.
He also does get blown back by a jet engine, which probably would have fried him, really.
And then also Archer, when he's wearing Troy's face in the prison, how does he break out of such a high-tech prison so easily?
Oh, you mean a high-tech...
the magnetic floor prison.
No. The magnetic boots that are the same fucking boots from the Super Mario Brothers movie? They're the jump boots.
Yeah?
No way.
Yeah, they reused the props.
Wow.
They're the jump boots that the Goombas would wear and stuff.
Wow, that's like the blue camo in Street Fighter.
Yeah, right?
And Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, those are the fucking boots. I'd like stop the movie and look it up.
funny.
Yeah. So I guess the lead-in, we just talked about Super Mario Bros. Movie. Remember how that one opens, where it's like millions of years ago in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
They do that in Adaptation, where you know, like there's a part of the movie where it starts when life starts on the planet and moves forward. Yeah. So I thought that's a nice connector between the two films.
That's a good one, yeah.
Adaptation, it's directed by Spike Jonze, who's done a lot of really awesome music videos. Daft Punk, Fatboy Slim, Beastie Boys, Weezer, where they rebuilt the set like from Happy Days.
He also used to, I think, hang out with the Jackass guys too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he used to be in like a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, so it's kind of in the same reality-bending vein as like Being John Malkovich, which he made earlier.
Which they show in this movie.
Yeah, in the beginning,
They're on the
what's
set.
his name? He's like a hand. He's a screenwriter, but he's like, but he's just kind of on set.
He's just hanging out on set, yeah.
Adaptation, the plot, well, it's got some confusing credits, I'll have to say, because it's basically Adaptation starring Nicolas Cage as Charlie Kaufman, written by Charlie Kaufman. So basically, it's based on an actual book called The Orchid Thief, but rather than adapting the book, they kind of made it about the screenwriter adapting the book. So it's basically like a satire on how to adapt the book.
Yeah, it's a movie about writing a movie about writing a movie about a book, an experience that went to making the book from someone who worked at the New York Times and do that, while your twin brother, who's also played by yourself, is also writing shitty movies that you don't want to make. Yeah. So there's a lot of...
But everybody loves the shitty movies that you're like, that's what I like is that he tells him to go do that stupid seminar and everything, and it works. Yeah. And then he sells this movie, and it's like he's just pissed off the whole time.
Just to clarify, so Charlie Kaufman is the actual screenwriter of the movie we're watching, but Nicolas Cage plays him in the movie, but he has a fictional twin brother, Donald Kaufman, who is also played by Nicolas Cage, and then meanwhile the author of The Orchid Thief, which they're adapting, is played by Meryl Streep. And apparently the author in real life hated the movie at first.
Yeah.
But then grown to like it.
Well, because they made it seem like, hey, you were down there having an affair with him and you were on a porn site that he made and you started doing magic drugs from the Native Americans of the Seminole Indians. It's like this whole fucking thing. Because he must have been like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, right.
Charlie Kaufman's like, I got her. I'll make myself look good. I'll just call myself fat a few times and then whatever. Yeah.
I actually loved this movie. Mm-hmm. I've never seen it before until we watched it, and
me too. It's first time.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be bored by it because I like Being John Malkovich, but it's one of those movies where when I'm like, if I'm going to have to watch movies like Drive Angry and Con Air and Face Off, and then I'm going to come and watch this, but I ended up loving this movie. And I loved the characters. I felt really bad for Charlie, even though he's kind of a dick at the same time. But I love when he brings his brother to the set and he's hitting on the makeup girl and he's like, "Stop embarrassing me. Stop Maggie hitting on." Yeah, and he's like, "Stop hitting on the makeup girl." And then the next scene, he's dating her already and stuff. It all worked out. And it's kind of like all of his insecurities that he's putting on himself that his brother doesn't deal with, but then he's trying to be like, stop doing that because this is how I feel. But his brother just does what he wants, and everything is working for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the movie's really, really good or makes you think it's good. It makes you think you're smart for like picking up on a lot of this stuff.
I think it is.
Because Face Off is so, it's so good because it's bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think this, honestly, for one, again, it's Nicolas Cage playing two characters, but he's acting completely different on both sides, but he still has a caginess.
Yeah, like it's so distinct, like you're never confused that which one is talking. Like they're both so different from each other. And also, special effect-wise, whenever they're both
good.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how good it was because like the camera even moves.
Yeah, like when he's going up the stairwell and the guy's on the floor and they like just the rotoscoping and the matching involved.
Yeah, like if it would me talking to myself, we would just split the frame down here and I'd be over here, like we did with Nathan and Keith. Which was great. But in this movie, it's like you see them and they just overlap, like they get like behind each other and the camera moves and it like just. It's done, but Spike
especially
Jonze
in the
videos
action
are
scenes.
Yeah,
because they're like jumping over each other.
Well, that's another thing. Like the story had these it's goofy in certain places, but then it gets really serious and it's real in certain places. I mean, when LaRoche explains about his mother and uncle.
We should explain who LaRoche is.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So you want to continue with the plot?
Well, so LaRoche is this guy who hunts orchids in the woods in the swamps of Florida. And he's not really allowed to take them. Yeah, like he's not allowed to take them, but he does.
Well, because basically the Seminole Indian tribes they're allowed to because it's technically like
they're allowed to.
So he's like their white guy patsy that helps them out with the law and all that stuff.
And also to bring it up too, the Native American guy who talks to Meryl Streep, who says to her like, "I can feel your sadness," and that is actually Jay Tavare or Jay Tavare. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but he plays Vega in Street Fighter the movie. And I noticed it when I was watching it, of course, and I was like, huh. And then I saw in the credits like Jay Tavare. I was like, oh, there he is. It's Vega. So there's another little connection too.
And that's what I'm sure he wants to be known for.
Yeah.
So what happens is. Basically, Meryl Streep's character is writing a New Yorker article about LaRoche and his exploits in Florida and the flowers and all that stuff, which she turns into a book, which is optioned for a screenplay.
And how much of that's true? Is that actually how Orchid Thief, the real book, was written?
Yes. No. So Adaptation is a movie. So they went to Charlie Kaufman and said, hey, you need to write a movie about this book, and he said, well, I'm just gonna make it about me writing the book, and because there's not enough action, because in the beginning he's like, I want to do one that's pure, it's about flowers, there's no car chases, there's no gun scenes, and that's what this fucking movie turns into.
All of it at the end, that's what it was kind of, see, that's why I'm saying, like, this is a good movie. It has these things these foreshadowing moments in the beginning that all pan out later.
I just don't want to ruin it by making it a Hollywood thing, like an Orchid Heist movie or something.
Hey, look! I told you I'd find the jewel of the Fakahatchee.
Changing the orchids into poppies and turning it into a movie about drug running, I'm saying it's like I don't want to cram in sex or guns or car chases.
But don't cheat. And don't you dare bring in a Deus Ex Machina.
And, you don't realize in the beginning that you're watching the movie that he is writing and that this is all, you're thinking you're just watching this sad fuck try to write a movie while everything is going right for everyone around him. And he's like this schlubby, gross dude.
It's kind of like you have a guy who's like passionate and happy and doing all that, and it's LaRoche, and that's why everyone's kind of like stealing the energy off him, because that's what Meryl Streep's character wants. Like, I just want to be like into something that much and not be sad and like be this like I hate high culture in New York, whereas in LA he's like, I hate how Hollywood is in LA. Like we just want to be these swamp people and be, Well,
it's like the thing is like she finds more than like thinking this guy is just some goofy Florida man. And he ends up being actually somewhat profound in different ways. And he's had this tragic life where he's actually a smart guy that knows what he's talking about and knows these plants and understands them and everything, but he's also this creepy Florida guy with no teeth. And he drives around in a gross white van and makes a porno site out of nowhere. Like, he just keeps going to the next scheme each time.
One thing I thought was really funny, like it just completely cracked me up, was that they have the author Robert McKee in here, and they also have the book, the story book by him, which I had already because this is a great book for.
Oh, so an actor played him in the movie.
Yeah, an actor played him in the movie. I think. I didn't look into who played him, but
that's definitely.
But that's a great book for anyone who's trying to like write a screenplay or tell any kind of story, because it's like all the fundamentals of storytelling, but it's done in a really great way. But anyway, like I know this guy Robert McKee, he does seminars and stuff, but in the movie, I don't know if this is at all accurate. I'm going to assume not, but he's like really grouchy and cursing and everything.
Yeah.
So I wonder how he felt about his character or whatever, his portrayal in the movie.
Probably sent a lot more people to his fucking seminars. He's probably thrilled.
Oh yeah, I loved actually that's what he says to him when he says, I'm trying to make it more close to life, and he's like, murders happen every day. People, betray their best friends for women.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't realize that, just because it's not happening. That's the thing is like it's not happening in his life. He's too afraid to do anything. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. But it's happening where, not here, but somewhere in the world, murder and war
he's saying,
and all
pretty
these
much
things
like, then
are
you
going
don't
on,
understand life, you fucking loser. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I liked about it. It felt really just, as a bunch of guys who do this kind of shit, there's been times where you're sitting around trying to fucking figure something out for hours on end and getting nothing. Like honestly, like when he's writing stuff, a lot of writing is sitting around trying to figure out what the fuck you're gonna write for hours, just sitting
and he keeps
or just trying to figure out why what you just wrote isn't working the way you want.
And how many times have you scrapped something?
All the time, yeah. The actor was Brian Cox. I just found it in my notes. So I knew that. So yeah, it's not Robert McKee.
No, he was the bad guy sheriff in Super Troopers, I think.
Brian Cox.
Yeah. He's always like that kind of a guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is the actual book from the movie. It's the actual one that Nick Cage is holding in it.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, the screen used.
It's the same book, but it is not the screen used book. No. Pretty much all I have to say. I think there's only like one Cage moment I recall, which is at the hour 44 minute 25 second mark.
Shut up! You loser!
Shut up!
You ruined my
Shut
life,
up!
you
Shut up!
fat fuck!
Fuck you, lady! You're just a lonely, old, desperate, pathetic drug addict!
Like he rips into her finally. Like that's the first time you see him where he actually changes from being this like sad loser to finally like saying
I guess
something.
The metaphor is real fucked up because it's like Charlie Kaufman has him and his brother that he wants to be, right? And then his brother just fucking dies.
Yeah.
And now he has to kind of become both of them, like they come back together.
I will say that the both car accident scenes in this movie are
brutal,
horrifying.
Yeah.
They were the scene with because you don't see much of like them getting all banged up, but you see them carting away the bodies. And he's just crying, saying like which ones are dead. That part I remember watching.
And
I was
this
like,
came out
holy
before
crap!
Crash and all that stuff. Like in fact, like this movie came out much like Face Off came out at the pinnacle of like the action movie genre of like that kind of stuff in '97. 2002 to 2004 is when like this came out. Sideways with Paul Giamatti, Punch Drunk Love
I was
with Adam
say too.
Sandler.
Yeah, these drama like
with these actors that you wouldn't think would be able to do those roles, and they're so good. And I forgot about Sideways, but Punch Drunk Love has this amazing car crash scene too, and these brutal fight scenes and stuff that like work with the movie because you have such drama and stuff that like when they bring it back up, for that kind of stuff, it's really good.
Yeah, and if you've been in a car crash, it's like. When you see something done, realistic in a movie,
it fucking sucks.
It gives you flashbacks for sure.
I think we've all been in car accidents, right? All of us. Yeah, because it happens in flashes. When it's literally how they show it, where you're just seeing quick. That's how it feels. It feels like everything is happening just in these quick jump cuts, really in real life.
Yeah,
it's really it's scary. And watching this movie, I'm gonna just say it. I really I'm gonna just cut to the chase already. I'm picking this over Face Off. I liked this movie better.
It's definitely Nicolas Cage's most like thanks for.
I think he's incredible in this movie. I think honestly, like I know he probably didn't win like an Oscar or anything.
I
for
know
this movie,
Meryl
but,
Streep was nominated.
Yeah,
but,
honestly, I think he should have been. I think he played the character very well. I think he was extremely believable.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's character was so different and unique and great. I loved everybody. I forget his name. The guy who played LaRoche. He's in.
That's Chris Cooper.
Chris Cooper. Yeah. He's in. American Beauty and the October Sky. He was great. I thought he was one of the most interesting. I love when actually that's one scene when Kaufman's watching them through the window and he catches them and she's like, that's the screenwriter. He's like, and he's about to like kill him and everything. And he's like, oh, hey man, really nice to meet you. And he's standing there naked shaking his hand. And he's like, who are you getting to play me? And he changes like completely for a second.
No, the movie's smart. Adaptation, I'm picking it too. Cause it's about adapting a script. Adaptation. It's about plants adapting to the environment. It's about people adapting to the environment. I just think it's real smart. It might, Face Off might be so bad it's good. This might happen to be so good it's bad at times. But I think it's, because a lot of people hyped up as like the best whatever. But it's definitely really fucking good.
And I'm going with Face Off.
Oh, what the fuck? You're gonna take your
face off. Now for me, it was a tough decision. But the thing is, I don't think for me it's about which is the better movie.
Oh, this is the better Cage.
Yeah, for me.
Okay. Then Face Off is the better Cage.
Well, I don't want to change your minds, but
okay.
See, there's a different reason for picking an Adaptation, which is perfectly legit. I think it is the better movie, but Face Off is the cagier movie.
Yeah,
even the title,
God
damn it.
Because with this...
No, because I didn't think about that at all in this, and now I'm sitting here going,
Because I'm in... Okay, imagine me...
I still want to acknowledge that Adaptation's a fucking amazing film, and I loved it. But it isn't cagier than fucking Face Off at all. It's not even close to the
As I just said, the movie's called Adaptation for like 5 reasons. Face Off is called Face Off is because 2 guys take their fucking face off.
Yeah, but it also has, the whole pre-scene is cagier than anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because like going into this, it's like, all right, I want to watch some Nicolas Cage movies. I want to see some just bizarre, off-the-wall acting. This wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
But Face Off delivered the Cage.
Oh, and both movies are about someone who has to be somebody else or appears to be someone else. It was you putting these 2 together was a really great idea.
Cool.
Yeah, because even when he plays his brother, he's still not cagey enough. He's definitely a dialed back Cage.
Yeah, dialed back Cage. There's full Cage, there's dialed back Cage, and then there's like sometimes you get medium Cage.
Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, this was the last Cage match of the month.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, I guess I want to say is that wow, this was really fun. But wow, what an undertaking, because each of these movies is like 2 hours or more.
Yeah.
And I had to watch 20 of them. No, 10 of them, but 20 hours. It's like 20 or 22 hours.
I watched all 6 last night back to back.
Yeah, I watched them in all one sitting, and holy shit. I felt like I was going crazy by the end of it because it was getting to be like 3 or 4 in the morning that I was like finishing.
Yeah, and like I started watching them in like October, and like we're shooting it now in December. Yeah. But like I had to watch some of them like in hotel rooms, like so sometimes I'd just be like drinking beer while watching them, and like I even got a shot of one of them like through my
oh,
beard.
You sent me that picture of Nicholas. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to send that to you. Oh no, you have it. So,
yeah. What's really great about this entire thing is like we had different matchups at first, and then you're like, no, we got to move this, and we have to have this one. So we definitely have enough matchups for if we do this next January.
Yeah.
Like there's another batch.
If you want to see more Cage matches, let us know, and maybe some future month. But February is going to be all Jim Carrey movies. It's February.
Fuck.